Welcome to the Fit Dad Nation podcast, forging strong fathers and raising a stronger generation. It's time to get up or shut up with your host, Steve Roy.
Hey guys, this is Steve Roy, host of the Fit Dad Nation podcast. Welcome to the show and thanks for listening. So before I jump into today's show, I just want to take a quick moment to invite all you dads who are listening right now. If you're ready to start taking action on reclaiming your health and fitness and becoming better fathers and better men, to join our online community. We have a free private Facebook group called the Fit Dad Base Camp. We do a ton of stuff in there. You can find the link, fitdadnation.com/community. So today's show, I'm actually going to be talking about something that was suggested by a member of our community, and that's about how to build and what equipment to use in a home gym. So, you know, I've have a home gym. I've had one for a few years now, and I've been able to put together quite a bit of equipment. I've got some stuff that really doesn't get much use, and I've got some equipment that I use all the time with my own workouts, with my clients. And so I want to talk about some things that probably make the most sense for you and what's kind of a waste of money. And hopefully this helps you because, you know, having a home gym has a ton of benefits. And so I'll tell you, one of the keys really to success in your fitness is being consistent with it. And in order to be consistent, you have to like it. So if you hate going to the gym and you look at it like, oh, fuck, I've got to go to the gym again. This is going to suck. There's going to be a bunch of meatheads there. It smells like swamp ass. And you don't want to go. It's not going to last that long. You can force yourself to do it for a while, sure. I've had many clients over the years that have hated going to the gym. And so there's always a workaround. A home gym is probably the best option for you. So, you know, consistency is absolutely critical. Find exercise that you like to do, and having a home gym affords you that luxury. So you can pick and choose your exercises. You can buy the equipment that you know that you'll like using. So, you know, there's that. So, you know, the gym isn't for everybody, right? I mean, people get intimidated. You know, some people just don't like that. They think that everyone's staring at them. They don't know what they're doing, so they end up gravitating towards the treadmill every time, and nothing really gets accomplished. And it's, you know, here's the thing. You don't have to go to the gym. You really don't. You know, I've been in and out of gyms my whole life. You know, I actually like the gym environment, but so many people don't. And so let's just talk about a couple of the additional benefits here before I jump into the equipment that I would suggest that you look at. So let's look at, first of all, the cost, right? This is a big one. So a lot of people think, well, I don't have the money to put together a home gym. And here's the thing. It's going to cost you more up front, sure, right? The good news is you can find not everything, but most things used. If you just search sites like Craigslist and things like that, I've found tons of equipment for cheap. And usually you don't have to travel that far. Not that long ago, I found a heavy bag. It was like brand new. It's a beautiful heavy bag, set of gloves. It had a speed bag attachment. The whole thing was $100 because this woman was, her son had gone off to college, didn't need it anymore. So boom, you know, and I found stuff like that, benches and barbells and dumbbells. I found so much stuff over the years for cheap. You know, if you go to Target, someplace like that, or Dick's Sporting Goods, you're going to pay a premium. It's not probably the best place to do that. So anyway, but you are going to spend some money up front. But the average gym membership in this country is between $600 and $700 a year. So you can definitely spend less than that building out a very functional and useful home gym and use it for far longer than a year. So you're definitely going to save some money on membership fees. Plus, you don't have to deal with those annoying sales reps that are constantly hassling you to sell you more shit. So another thing here is, you know, one of the biggest frustrations is waiting around for the equipment, right? Some gyms are smaller. They have one or two benches or, you know, one squat rack, whatever you're using. And it seems like without fail, when you're ready to use it, some knucklehead goes in there and takes over, and he's there for 45 minutes. So you have to go do something else, right? So when you have the luxury of your own home gym, there is no waiting. Hey, that's actually a great benefit. And if it's raining, if it's snowing, if it's hot, if it's cold, whatever, there's a bad accident, traffic's backed up, whatever, you can't get there, guess what? No excuses, right? It's open 24/7. It's right in your house. Mine's in my garage, but a lot of people just use it right in their basement. So there's literally no excuses. You're also going to save quite a bit of money just on gas driving to and from a gym, and the time that you spend doing that, right? Some people will drive 15 minutes or more each way. That's a full half an hour out of your day. So, I mean, time is money. Time is our most valuable resource. So I don't like to waste it if I don't have to, right? Then you get to save time also on changing your clothes. You get there, especially if you work out. I used to actually work out on my lunch break when I worked in finance. I was wearing a suit, so I'd walk over across, it was maybe, I don't know, half a mile. I'd walk to the gym, change out of my suit into my whatever, take a shower. I mean, it just takes time. Here, boom, you throw on a hat, your shorts, you're downstairs, you're working out, you're done. You can jump in the shower 2 seconds later. Okay, you have no rules. So you do whatever the fuck you want. You want to play Slayer, crank it as loud as you possibly can. You're not going to disturb anybody except maybe your neighbors, right? There's no lunk alarm if you drop your heavy weights or if you throw shit around, right? Like a Planet Fitness. So, you have that luxury. And one of the big ones, actually you probably don't think about this that often, but most gyms are just like hotbeds of bacteria. They're nasty, right? Guys are sweating all over the place. And believe me, I've worked in big box gyms for many years. And one of my duties was cleaning the equipment. And I can tell you straight up that trainers aren't interested in doing a good job of that, right? They want to go out and they want to sell personal training. They don't want to spend their time cleaning equipment, so they do a half-assed job, and shit isn't clean. So, and I don't even get me started on the bathrooms. You go into like a Gold's Gym, you go into the bathrooms, it's foul. All those dudes in there with eating tons of protein. The bathroom smells like just the worst kind of shit. It's horrible. And it's nasty. And I've experienced that many, many times. And so, you have the comfort of your own home as well. So, those are a few things that make sense, right? So I have a home gym. I've got tons of stuff. I only use a handful of things. And so here's what I'll tell you as far as equipment. So ideally, and this certainly is not feasible for everybody, but ideally you'll have, let's call it a half rack with a barbell and Olympic plates. Okay, that would be ideal. For me, actually, I got my whole setup. I bought a half rack online. It was, I think, $200 and maybe $50 at the most. So the half rack is where you walk into the rack where you can do squats and your presses, your bench presses, overhead presses, whatever you want. But it's basically a safety rack where you can put the pins up, and if it gets heavy and you don't have a spotter, then it'll catch the bar so you don't kill yourself like all those idiots on YouTube. And then I actually found an Olympic bar with a bunch of weights, 45s, 35s, 25s, 10s, all the way down to 2.5s. And it was, this was a few years ago, but it was under $100 for all of that. So that's where you'd want to start. But I'm going to talk about 8 other pieces of equipment that you're going to want to look for because, again, some people don't have the space. And it does take up quite a bit of space, and some people just don't want to deal with the half rack and all that other crap. So you can get some much smaller pieces of equipment that can fit in the corner and be super useful. So here, I'm going to jump right into my top 8 suggestions for you for building out a home gym. So first and foremost, let's get a bench, preferably one that inclines. I've never found declines to be particularly important. A lot of people love decline presses, but I'll give it, take it or leave it, basically. But an incline is useful. So if not, get a flat bench. If you can avoid going to a sporting goods store to buy one, all the better because they're expensive. Look for ones that are very stable. I've seen clients buy benches for $250 and they wobble all over the place because they're built poorly. And so you want one that's got a really wide base that's super stable. So check that. And again, anytime I tell you about getting a used piece of equipment, start checking sites like Craigslist or Angie's List or whatever else is out there. I mean, there's a million of those out here now. Facebook groups, local, community Facebook groups. We have one for our community here. So always check there first, because at the end of the day, try to save money. If you're going to get a set of dumbbells that is a little bit banged up, it's going to save you $50. Do it. They're going to get banged up anyway. So number one, get a bench. You're going to use it for a lot of things. Number two, get some dumbbells. So in a perfect world, I would probably suggest getting a set of adjustable dumbbells, and they have, like, for example, Bowflex makes a nice set. But the problem is they're ungodly expensive, a couple $100s, and they're also extremely bulky. So I have a client, she's a woman, she has a set of those, her husband has them, and so when she does certain lifts, it's almost impossible because she's a very small person, and these things are huge. They're like super big and bulky. So not ideal. Plus, like I said, they are really expensive. So instead, find 2 sets. Just 2 sets of dumbbells will probably serve you perfectly. So maybe a set of 20s or 25s. I don't know how strength, everyone's got different strength levels, but so you can do curls and overhead presses, exercises like that. And then a heavier set, like 45s or 50s, where you can do your heavy chest presses or squats, that kind of stuff. So getting 2 sets, probably fine. And again, you definitely can find these used. So number 3, one of my absolute favorite pieces of equipment is it's a jump rope. So great conditioning tool, dirt cheap. Most of my ropes are about $8. I did buy one really nice swivel bearing speed rope a while back. It was like $50, I think. But most of mine are those kind of cheap plastic looking ones. You get them warmed up a little bit, they work just fine. Less than $10. Again, take them anywhere. Really amazing tool for getting your conditioning and your stamina up. Even if you suck at it, just practice. I mean, just unless you have issues with your knees, hips, you have some injuries like that, the up and down jumping probably isn't the best idea, but for a lot of people, it's a phenomenal conditioning tool. Number 4, a suspension trainer. I didn't say TRX because TRX is the brand name. It's a high quality piece of equipment, but it's expensive. So it's like $150 for the whole setup for a TRX. And there are lots of cheaper alternatives. I had a favorite one. I actually bought a few of them, and I had all my clients buy them. It was like $40 or something. And they got sued by TRX a few years ago. They lost all their money, and they're gone. But there are some other knockoffs. You can actually find some decent ones, even at like Walmart for like $25. So it's just such a simple piece of basically 2 straps and handles, and you can just hook them up anywhere. So I love this piece of equipment, and I use it. I use mine all the time. I take it with me everywhere. I jump on my bike. I throw that in the backpack. It weighs next to nothing, and I'll just find a bar. Like I usually go to a set of bleachers that has a couple of bars, obviously holding it up. So I just wrap it around that, get to work. Plus, you're outside with it. Super functional. You can do hundreds of exercises. I've got a number of workouts that I have posted in my groups. So anyway, really, that's probably one of the things at the top of your list, other than a set of dumbbells and a bench. So next up, pull-up bar. So if you buy a rack or a half rack, chances are it'll have pull-up bars on it, which is great. If not, get one of those kind of middle of the road pull-up bars that attaches in the doorway. Just make sure it sticks, because I've seen a lot of people fall or break their doors. This is pull-ups are the king of upper body exercise. I use them constantly, and if you can't do them, which a lot of guys can't, they just don't have the upper body strength to do a good pull-up, I would suggest adding a heavy resistance band, not like the little cheesy, cheap resistance bands you see Jillian Michaels using with the handles, the little tubing. I'm talking about like the thick, they're like 3 inches wide, those heavy bands. And so you can use those to assist you with your pull-ups. So you can wrap them around the bar, wrap them around your knees or or underneath your feet, whatever works. And that'll assist your body weight. And that way you can work up to building the strength for. But you should definitely be doing pull-ups. By far one of the, if not the absolute best upper body exercise for building mass and strength. Next up, I will talk about a slam ball. So a slam ball is a little bit different than a medicine ball. You hear a lot about med balls. And those are fine. They're just medicine balls. Typically are bouncy, right? You throw them on the ground, they bounce back up. I've been hit in the face by some because of that. I've seen people hit themselves right in the jaw. Slam balls are filled with sand and they don't bounce at all. I like them better because they make you work harder. The weight inside shifts. So when you throw it like a soccer throw, that weight is shifting because the sand is sliding inside of it. So it's more, I think just you get a better workout using a slam ball. Plus, when you throw it on the ground, you have to go get it. It's not going to come back to you. Like a racquetball, you actually have to squat down and pick it up. Okay, so super useful. Love the exercise. Next up, this is the seventh piece of equipment, I believe. It is a kettlebell. I'm sure you guys are waiting for this one. Kettlebell, phenomenal tool, no doubt about it. They are expensive and they are harder to find used. So you may have to pony up for this one. You don't need the fancy ones like the primal bells. They have actually they're really cool to look at. Like some are shaped like, apes or demons or Boba Fett. There's all kinds of cool kettlebells. They weigh a ton, but you don't really need that. Just get an iron one, right? You don't need to try to stay away from the plastic cheap ones you see at Target. Those break. They're kind of crappy. So just get an iron one. And even one, a set would be ideal, but really, a kettlebell is one piece of equipment that you can use by itself. Just one moderately heavy kettlebell, and you can do a ton with it. Cleans and presses and swings, squats, single arm exercises, single arm carries, anything like that. You can do dozens of exercises with the kettlebell. So again, this is definitely one of the top pieces of equipment that you want to have in your home gym. And then one of my personal favorites, it's a tire sled. This can be done super cheap. I have a video which I'll link to in the show notes where I built one. So what I did was I drove to a local tire store. This was a couple years ago. I said, hey, do you have any tires that you're going to throw out? I'm looking just for an old tire. So he gave me a tire. They had a hole in it. I took it over to Lowe's, got, I don't know, was it maybe 15 feet of rope, something like that, which was pretty cheap. And then an eye bolt, and then a couple screws. And so went home, drilled a hole through the tire, put the eye bolt in, looped the rope through the eye bolt, and basically used I think duct tape or Gorilla Tape for the handles. Put a couple of old 2x4s inside the tire, tight enough where they didn't fall out, and then you can throw stuff on top like weights, plates, sandbags, even whatever, anything to give it some weight. So again, I'll put the link to that demonstration. I actually build it for you in the video, and so I throw this thing in my trunk with a little bit of weight, and I take it out to a field, and then I'll just drag it. I'll push it. I'll pull it from different angles. I'll walk to the side. I'll go forwards, backwards. Super useful, super functional, great conditioning tool, good for building strength. It's going to help you increase your testosterone as well, just like sprints when you're doing heavy drags, heavy sled work. Same thing, just will help to boost your testosterone. Because of the demand placed on your body. So those are my 8 top pieces. So within those 8 things, you could probably pick 4 of them and be fine for years. Because you really don't need a lot of stuff. I have a ton of little gadgets. Companies have sent me all these weird things. I have, I don't know. I have so much stuff. I have this huge army trunk that somebody gave me years ago, and I throw all my stuff in there, balls and cones and ladders, bands. I've got just so much stuff. So, and I don't use most of it. What I just told you is everything that you need, and not even all of that. Like I said, pick a handful of those, and you can do a ton of stuff. And so as far as your programming, all I'll say is you don't need fancy equipment, you don't need a gym, and you don't need a fancy technical program. If you just focus on a few basic movements with what I've just told you, these pieces of equipment, and again, honestly, you don't need any of these things because you can do a ton of stuff. You can get a great workout, you can build strength, you can get bigger, stronger just through body weight training, and that's a different subject. But if you do want to build an actual home gym or garage gym, the equipment I just mentioned is perfect. But anyway, so as far as your programming, if you just focus on these few movements and the variations, you're going to be fine. There's really, I think the fitness world loves to confuse us. They love to throw new and shiny at us, 100 different ways to do bicep curls, all that bullshit, right? We don't need any of that stuff. That's all just marketing and sales trying to sell you stuff. So here's what you'll focus on. Pull-ups and the variations, push-ups and variations, sled drags and pulls, heavy carries, presses, squats, and deadlifts. Okay, and you can do a few other things like step-ups, but those few things in the variations of those, that's all you need. Seriously, that's all you need. So anyway, I hope this helps, guys. Feel free to reach out to me with any questions. If you want to post comments, you can certainly do so here on the individual blog post that this will be linked to. And I'm happy to help. I plan on shooting some more videos specifically for this. And if you're interested in more specific ideas, if you're interested in specific home workouts, we do monthly challenges, we do new workouts, and then we have a ton of resources for you in our private membership program, which is called the Fit Dad Nation Inner Circle. Right now, I am offering up a free 2-week trial into it. It actually ends June 21st, so just a handful of days away. But if you're looking for a community that has a lot going for it, a lot of resources and men working together in accountability groups, and you're looking for additional challenges, ideas, tips, workouts, all that stuff. We have so much stuff going on in the Inner Circle, so I'll put a link in the show notes as well. Anyway, I hope this helps, guys, and I appreciate you listening.
Thanks for joining us. And remember, if you want more information, check out the Fit Dad Basecamp group on Facebook. And don't forget to stop by fitdadnation.com. Until next time, keep kicking ass and taking the next step. You can do this, Dad.